Sunday afternoon, Fort McMurray. We actually are just about to have our first thunderstorm of the season up here. Rather nice. Hear that sound? My goodness. Anyways, I just really have been taking some time off and just contemplating what in the world, how in the world, what subject matter, what what issues. I get really tired of politics, and so we've transitioned from ranch stories that no one believed, actually, hard hard as that is to believe, but didn't seem to. Trying on many occasions to be somewhat humorous, but it's very difficult to be humorous when you don't know on a personal level what constitutes humor. And it is a bit of a challenge. I I think of our world affairs and current issues and stuff like that. And really, we're suffering. Well, not really suffering, but we're not doing that well at the pump. Uh, and we're really not doing that well in the grocery stores. And I think it's fair to say that we're not doing that well in terms of the world economic situation, the world political, religious, all that sort of crap. And but it gets really boring to just keep plugging away with. I mean, 4 views on the last two videos. I mean, I really thank God that I this is 459. I thank God that there's an awful lot of good videos in reserve. 100, 200, 300, 400 videos ago. And I really appreciate that because my views keep increasing. They have to go so far more than they are now, increase in number, all that sort of stuff, and it's perhaps a time of the year, perhaps it's a subject matter. Oh, geez, could be my presentation for all that matters. But things are not hot on YouTube, and an acquaintance of mine said you should try to go and do podcasts. And I truly am inept when it comes time for techno stuff. Running a laptop, I finally booked myself in for a tutorial at Staples, and they're going to try to help me resurrect my one and only fictional. Um, it's actually a love story. It's called The Black Haired Warrior Woman, and I had posted it about. Well, it was the first video I ever made, but the prologue to it was an apparition. It was terrible. I mean, it truly was terrible, and too much emotion. Oh my goodness. And but anyways, I have gotten that edited, and I just have to get Staples to show me how to take it and put it in my uh, hmm, video collection and get it posted and so on. But just as a footnote, I was not entertained. I I think I think the more appropriate word would be sickened, really. Um, and so I'll just make this short little comment, and then we'll shut this down and so on and so on. Down in the States, they had a reserve of oil supplies in case of war, in case of emergency, in case of what you would not be able to plan for. Example, if you're under attack, it's kind of hard to run an oil field and rather difficult. So they had a wonderful reserve down past tense, wonderful reserve down there. Joe Biden, I have stated this and hinted at this. I I cannot find it in my heart to believe that he and the Democratic Party down in the states are not overtly, but absolutely dedicated to destroying uh, our economy in the North American continent. And so they opened the oil reserves in order to drive the price of fuel down. Well, it didn't drive anything down. It merely um, just gave it more leeway, more room for the price of oil to increase. And when you think about that, it's like you as a family, you have a small savings account. It's reflective of a small percentage of your income for the year, but you keep it that way. I suppose it could be kind of like a credit card, but you don't have to pay it back. But you have a little reserve of cash just in case of a rainy day or a period of time where things are not working out for you. And that's what that oil reserve in the States was used for, was supposed to be used for. But the Democratic Party and Joe Biden, in their wisdom, I think in their um, agenda to destroy North America, definitely the U.S. I believe that they have actually done as they have done with law enforcement, with production of oil, which is virtually hampered, hindered, with immigration, um, with everything. When when you study, if you study, and gee, you really have to be bored in order to do that. But as I have studied, um, the liberal mayors, cities, states, um, they are in rack and ruin in the U.S. because of things like defund the police and all that terrible stuff, and they have tried to unify um, America by using racism to curtail um, anyone, whether wealthy or poor, white, whatever. And they've tried to convince people that it's racism that is destroying democracy because the American leadership in the Liberal Party, the Democratic Party, want their country to fundamentally be destroyed. And I have a few ideas on that, but they're mine. And so we'll leave those alone. Um, but if you think about it for a while, you may well convince yourself that you cannot screw up as badly as the U.S. government has done unless it is with malicious intent. And so, in the wisdom of Joe Biden, who is bereft of what anyone with a brain would call common sense, Alzheimer's, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. But whoever writes his stuff, um, they have done a disservice to mankind, really. And so here, their oil reserves are being sold. Now, how is that supposed to knock the price of oil down? Now, people would say, well, if it's all being sold to U.S. Fossil fuel manufacturers who take the oil and convert it to diesel or gasoline or whatever, then it would help. But it's not. It's being sold to European countries who are gradually being forced by Putin to find sources of oil somewhere else. And I think that's a good idea because I think we have learned don't rely on stuff being made around the world that you need to exist, function, live. Um, don't rely on other countries to be so stable as those necessities of life, whether it's baby formula or whatever, to be available. Because chances are really good it won't be available. So, in Europe, U.S. oil is being sold to a few countries that Putin has cut off. And this is where it gets really funny. Um, it's also being sold to China. You have to think about that for a second. China, their aim, intent, is to take over the world. They are using Putin and his um, attitude to create such a furor that China can do things like invade Taiwan. That's the next thing they'll do. Take over the South China Seas. That's what they are doing, and will continue to do because there's no resistance to it. And Biden, well, not Biden. He just reads the teleprompter. But some idiot that writes his stuff said that the U.S. will buy 1 million barrels of oil from Venezuela. Venezuela is a tremendously corrupt country. And I mean, anti US, anti democracy, anti everything good and decent. And yes, it may be a little presumptuous of me to to include the U.S. In terms of being really really good, but they're not really really bad. Okay, the problem with stupidity is Venezuela only produces 700,000 barrels of oil a day. And the Democrats in the state say they're going to buy 1 million barrels of oil from Venezuela every day. So don't worry about the fact that they're, be a little careful of choosing my words, that they're dissipating the oil reserves for reasons that in hindsight one day will become very clear, I'm sure. And politicians, to me it's shameful, but I suppose it certainly is the way it is. They speak, they say, doesn't have to have much substance to what it is they're saying. They just run their mouths and hope that no one is smart enough to remember more than a few days. And so the necessities of life just seem to dissipate. The price of food, the price of diesel, oh my. I filled my toy truck up the other day, and we up here in Fort Mac, our diesel's not hardly more expensive than it is down, say, in Olds area. It's just about the same price, and and that in itself is rather hilarious because I mean they have to take the oil south to Edmonton, and they have to refine it at the refineries, and then they have to pump or truck it back up here, mostly trucks by the number of tankers on the road, and it's the same price. The joke is, um, we don't buy Russian oil. So why would our oil have to be premised on the price of world oil, all like oil all over the world? And yes, our companies must needs make a profit. I guess the question is how much profit? How much is enough? How much suffering do you as a people have to do in order for our companies, whom I hold in a high degree of respect, especially in Fort Mac, given the effort that is being made to clean up the world's greatest natural oil spill? I mean, it's astounding what we're doing up here. It truly is. But it is not bandied about very much anywhere beyond Fort Mac because people don't believe that sort of stuff. It's like my hunting stories or my ranch based stories or anything else. People have a very hard time believing anything that they themselves haven't personally experienced. And I understand that. I do. So um, people say, well, you need a reserve of cash, of food, of the necessities of life. And people wonder, what about these idiots that are somewhat, shall we say, survivalist? Well, they're not that, they're not missing the mark that terrible much. I don't know that they are missing it at all. I'm not an alarmist. I'm not someone who is a conspiracy theorist either. I think it's a waste of breath. But I'll tell you this, if we don't pull our heads out of the sand, we're going to experience a whole lot of unpleasant memories, and definitely unpleasant. Okay, just less than 20 minutes, and so we're going to bring this one to an end, and hopefully there'll be someone who will watch the blessed thing, and but we will find out. And so 5,097 views. I checked just half an hour ago, and I really thank you all. I thank you so much. And I'm right at the point of just about being ready to get back to work. Boy, it's been a long winter. Oh my. But a lot of healing and some good life's experiences and stuff like that. So listen, God bless, and you have a good day. You get outside and take a walk. I don't like walking. Gee, it's not fun. Well, not when you're alone. But nonetheless, enjoy your life. It's the only one you're probably going to get to live. I think. Doesn't matter. God bless thee. Thank you.